Well, my great-grandfather already started watch and clock as well as timekeeping device collection, and I was fascinated by these objects. And 25 years ago, I actually founded Chopin Manufacture here in Fleurier. When we started becoming a little bit more important here in Fleurier, I thought this is the moment to put together the museum, starting with the family collection and along the way adding many more. And inevitably I came across Ferdinand Berthoud. I mean, if you are passionate about this kind of timekeeping, you inevitably meet him along the way. And this is exactly what happened. We became proprietor of a beautiful Berthoud piece, which is obviously still in our museum. And it was the first piece that we managed to acquire. And this really put me on the Berthoud trail and the incredible watchmaking history and heritage connected with it. The actual idea of a revival of the name came really when I heard that someone actually owns the name, so I made sure that we could acquire the name. The intention was really to pay tribute to Ferdinand Berthoud, and still is today. It took a few more years between 2006 and basically 2010 or so that we actually started on a project. Basically, beginning was just to make sure that nobody could harm the name. While we obviously have a very contemporary approach to the design, we still try to pay tribute to what he has done and try to integrate techniques and finishing techniques as well, to an extent where you could really recognize his work. The big surprise in the Berthoud discovery was also the fact that Ferdinand Berthoud was born just a few kilometers from Fleurier. As everyone knows, he left to Paris and made an incredible career as watchmaker to the King of France and to the Royal Navy. We analyzed in particular his marine chronometers, for which he was most well known. We said we take this technology and make miniatures basically to the extent that everything will fit into a wristwatch. But this being said, to do it was a big challenge. At the time, Chopin Manufacture was offered us an infrastructure which allowed us to basically manufacture every important part in-house. This was before we actually created a separate small Berthoud team, but still Berthoud has the great advantage of a full-fledged, fully integrated manufacture, which can produce all the key parts and all the key prototypes in-house. And this was obviously a luxury. We quickly realized that we needed to even upgrade the quality requirements. The LUC movements are already extremely well finished. We have Poinçon de Genève movements. Along the way, and while we were integrating and upgrading the different crafts, I realized how important it is to really perpetuate those. The initial idea was to combine a tourbillon with fusee and chain in a movement architecture very similar to what Berthoud did in his chronometers. The case obviously had to be also recognizable and also a link to the past in a way. And the idea was really to remind you of a case for ship chronometer, and we tried to reinterpret this for our watch case, shaping it octagonally, and we thought that this shape would be very characteristic because we wanted everyone to see right away this is a Berthoud, but at the same time the shape of this watch allows you to play with different materials. We also went back to the past, and for example we looked at particular dials that he made. I have a beautiful mantle precision clock. There's a dial where the hours are shown in a window, and basically this became a variation of the FB1, but it's a totally different watch. So every time we went back and said, we have so much literature and so many drawings, there's always something that can inspire you if you have the right set of mind. Everything was considered, the hands, the crown. We did not leave anything to chance. It was an all-in-all design process. Well, the name carries a certain responsibility. Chronométrie Ferdinand Berthoud. Every piece is certified by the COSC, Chronometrie certification in Switzerland. So yes, the second hand always plays a big role in every Berthoud piece. I was always dreaming about a timepiece with a deadbeat second. This was something that I always wanted to achieve. And when we brainstormed around what else we could do and what else had not been done, this idea came back up. But also the combination of the remontoir d'égalité with fusee and chain, the way we introduced it had never been done before, and the added feature of the deadbeat second was something that totally fascinated me. So we went about this development, which is really the result of another brainstorming around what features Berthoud would have done. And for the first time, as you know, we introduced another shape of case. So the FB2 really is a novelty in many different ways and encountered a very big success as well. When we won the Aiguille d'Or in 2016, just a few months basically after we delivered the first Berthoud watch, I was obviously shocked and happy and all at the same time, because I really did not expect this. It couldn't come any better. So I was really amazed. But at the same time, I became very nervous, because now we have to live up to all this. We have to make sure that we don't disappoint. The prize came with a big responsibility. I think the most important thing is that we managed to revive the Berthoud name and put it where it belongs. And this for me is the greatest satisfaction and a great achievement. With every new piece that we introduce, we have to be à la hauteur. And so today, for the first time actually, we are offering the possibility to integrate a movement into either the round case or the octagonal case. Different materials in terms of gold or other metals, and we limit basically the movements themselves. So there will be 20 movements of a certain type, no more, but these can be ordered in variations of cases and finishings. So everything is based on the movements rather than the cases or the watches themselves. Over the years we also realized, and that this is a fact in today's watchmaking world, at this level, that the personalization requests are quite strong. And we think that this way we can really we can cater to these requests in the best possible way, and the watch collector can really put together his ideal Berthoud watch.
The appearance of the movement is a bit more modern than the traditional movements that we produce since we launched the brand. This movement is the first movement that has been skeletonized in our collection, enabling, of course, to see all the tourbillon carriage and the movement parts from the dial side. We wanted this movement to be a bit more sporty looking. That's why after open working all the bridges and the main plate, we have treated all the elements with black PVD, giving this very, very sporty touch to the watch. But the method we use in terms of production, the hand decoration, the tools are the same and the criteria of quality are the same. So we talk about high-end, handmade, fine craftsmanship. If you consider that just to open work all the elements, it represents 124 sharp angles, controlled with a magnifying glass and sizing 6.7 times. Here we talk about very fine traditional hand watchmaking. Just the decoration represents roughly 200 hours hand decoration. It's a lot of work for one movement. That explains why we also can deliver very few of these watches. It's one, when we are lucky, 2 watches per month. The tourbillon carriage on this movement is if I can say, oversized. Is the biggest size possible with the tourbillon, with the balance wheel that is our own balance wheel development that we introduced with the remontoir d'égalité that has been also used here for this regulator skelette. And a really big diameter. On top of that, it has been fixed by a very fascinating tourbillon bridge that is extremely complicated in terms of geometry because it is not a flat two arms tourbillon bridge. It has different angles, so it's extremely difficult to mirror polish. And that took about 1 year to our decoration team to achieve the perfect finishing for this mirror polish tourbillon bridge. It's fascinating because this bridge, the lights play on the surface, and when one arm appears shiny, the other arm will appear black. So it's like blinking all the time, making the movement very live. In fact, if you look closely between the two variants we introduce here, for the rose gold, the barrel and the fusee are gold plated, and some wheels are also gold plated, especially on the tourbillon carriage. But for the octagonal case that is in carburized stainless steel, we have rhodium plated some wheels and the fusee and the barrel. So obviously for each watch you have to adapt depending on the case material you use. You have to adapt some elements of the movements to perfectly match with the color of the material, and also you have to adapt the color of the hands. So it's quite a lot of work between one variant and the other variant. It's true that if one collector asks us to produce a platinum case or a stainless steel case, or any other material, yes, we can do that because everything is produced in-house. So it's basically a matter of time because everything that must be personalized takes more time, and of course a matter of price adaptation. So this new movement, regulator skelette, has first of all 1,158 parts, including 790 parts for the chain, and it is a tourbillon with a central second display, that is a patent that we have, and fusee and chain that is suspended, another patent we have, and you have this very unique mobile cone allowing to display the power reserve in a very original way that is for the first time completely visible from the dial side, making this very specific power reserve device extremely attractive. Like all our movements, the power reserve is 53 hours and the frequency is 3 Hz. And obviously, chronometer certified by the CUSC for Chronométrie Ferdinand Berthoud, it's a must-have.